I think that if you want to bring it to Trump, you're black, you're Republican. First of all,
Wait, oh, one
so
question. Are
let's
you
transition.
Republican?
Well,
I've always wondered this question. Are you a Republican? What's going on, brother?
Good afternoon. What's going on, my friend? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Man, it's been a week. Been through it emotionally. For the good.
Oh, good.
For the good. Yeah, my sports fandom has been tested for sure.
What happened?
UConn, of course, goes out again in the first round. First round exit for Dan Hurley at UConn. I don't like that at all. But at the same time, as you know, I've been a huge Raider fan. I've suffered for over 30 years following the Raiders. So as UConn is kind of going down in flames, the Raiders are trading for and signing Devontae Adams, the number one wide receiver in football. So I was up and I was down at the same time. So pretty interesting day for me on Thursday for sure.
Yeah. Speaking about the UConn Huskies, man, brackets are decimated.
Yeah, completely.
Nobody, especially thinking about Kentucky.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Kentucky not to be at least in the Final Four.
I think that's true. I think the problem with Kentucky is the problem with college basketball. If you follow college basketball, and it's the one and done. So the teams that Kentucky plays against are lower level schools. They've got maybe people that have been playing together 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And whereas Kentucky's got a bunch of superstar freshmen, right? But like who are probably more talented, sure. But when you play up against a team maybe that's been together for a long time, that have that camaraderie, this could potentially happen, especially when you're dealing with like the one and done model of college basketball right now.
Right.
I think it's a gift and a curse, honestly.
So when you do your brackets, like what do you do? You're still betting.
Yeah. What you do is you don't ask me, or you do. If I give you advice, you do the opposite of what I tell you to do. If you want advice from me on brackets.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Have you been watching the
work?
What's that?
At work, and I was shaking my head like, man, we can just call everybody's brackets garbage and start next year because UConn and Kentucky out. Crazy. But yeah, man. So
how was the temperature up there before we get off this topic? Since you're up there still in Connecticut, what have you heard, or what's the temperature with Dan Hurley, with UConn? What are people saying about the men? Maybe not necessarily being as successful as maybe they expect them to be.
Oh, I honestly haven't had my ear to the ground on that. So I do not.
Got it.
I do not know. It was just a complete surprise to hear that they got beaten. So I heard the guy that was it New Mexico State?
Yeah, I think so. Couldn't even tell you.
New Mexico State. The guy had 37 points.
He roasted him.
And his name is Buckets. They call him Buckets, bro. Teddy Buckets Allen.
Is that his name?
His name is Teddy Buckets.
Teddy Allen. Well, Teddy Allen's his name.
Yeah, but
did they call him Teddy Buckets?
Pretty sure they call him Teddy Buckets Allen. Type in Buckets Allen and see if Teddy comes up.
He dropped on him for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Good talent. I saw the highlights.
Teddy Allen scoring in buckets from New Mexico State. Yeah, there it is. That's an AP News story. Yeah, ABC News. Buckets. They lost, so obviously their second game, as they should have. They were a 12 seed.
Yeah.
But, to beat UConn, I mean, I think that's huge for a New Mexico State. I think I saw that was their first win in the tournament at all. So, of course, it happens against the proud UConn, and it happens against Dan Hurley in the tournament. So, go UConn.
Yeah, man.
At least we have the women.
We always got the women.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, let's get into these topics, man.
All right, let's get into these topics, man.
Oh, since we're starting on time this week.
Yes, sir.
I love to hear it. So, first topic, man, is I want to know your thoughts on, first of all, this war in general, and secondly, like war as a whole. Like, what do you think about this war in general?
I think that Putin has shown to be a bit of a dictator. He's shown himself to be a thug. I think that, they're shelling apartment buildings with civilians huddled inside, trying to just kind of avoid danger. They're not a battlefield, and the Russian tanks are like shelling. That's all you really need to know about, Putin. And we had people here in this country, like Candace Owens, like Tucker Carlson, I thought that at first seemed to be very sympathetic to Putin in this war. I haven't heard any follow-up since we've seen these civilians die. As it relates to war, I want the U.S. to not get involved by any means necessary, Dwayne. It's sad what's happening over there. There's refugees. There's people getting killed. The nuclear part makes this such a scary thing. So my thoughts are, I don't want the U.S. to get involved still. Think as far as boots on the ground, right? Now they're getting dangerously close. They're about 13 miles, last I saw, outside of Poland. The Russia pushing
13. Last I heard was
pushing.
Oh, they're getting closer and closer.
Pushing west. Well, yeah, according to ABC News this morning. So as they get closer to Poland, and because they're part of NATO, that may trigger the U.S. have to get involved if they're getting really too close to a NATO country. What are your thoughts? What have you been thinking about this? What have you been following?
So as far as the war, we had a conversation about this war before, and going back to how we're free thinkers, right?
Yeah.
And me watching the mainstream news, I'm not a big fan of the mainstream news.
Yeah. We can talk all day on that. Yeah.
For me, the mainstream news has an agenda, and they're gonna push you in the direction in which they want you to go.
Yeah.
So, as of now, the mainstream news is pushing Putin as the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
Dictator. They're showing him killing civilians, elderly, no regard. He just wants what he wants. Blah, blah, blah. And I always have to have pause when I see things like this. Like, is it that simple? That this guy is just evil? He wants more territory for the Soviet Union, and he's going to take it by any means necessary? Or is there something else to it?
Right.
And I always think, like, so that's this war. So war in general, there's always going to be somebody that wants something that takes by force and violence. Is any war good? Is it always good to obtain more land through the use of violence, or, go that route? Like, what do you think as far as like war in general, as far as like expanding your territory? Is that in any terms good? Because I bring that up to say, like, they're pushing Putin and Russia as the evil bad guys. And
I think though, yeah. So I agree with you. Like in America, so let's go back to your first point. And we have to be very careful here because first of all, we know that Putin is a master propagandist. But we also know that in this country, you talk about news, we've got right-wing news and we've got left-wing news. We don't really necessarily have like what's right down the middle. So we've got agenda-driven news in America. I agree with you. We've got Putin with his propaganda arm.
So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
He might have propaganda, but we're not going to sit here and say that America doesn't have propaganda. We can't say that.
Well, everything can be defined in propaganda if you really want to.
If you're going to do that, then yeah. So right. So go ahead.
Putin does not want NATO on his doorstep. The way I understand it, listening to, now remember, to your earlier point, the opinions that I try to form, and I still don't know like anything. I listen to right-wing news. I listen to left-wing news.
Which we should.
I listen to Al Jazeera. I listen to BBC. Right. I actually, go on Twitter. On Twitter, you'll find it, which is a hellscape if you really want to like get your main news. I get that, but there's actual like some drones, like footage, real time, drone footage of like leveled buildings. You can't make that up, right? Like, so you have to sort of like take all this in, and then to your point, like form your own opinion, which probably is still going to be wrong. But like from my opinion, the way I've kind of formulated this is this. Putin doesn't want NATO on his front doorstep. Zelensky and Ukraine sort of kind of consider themselves more of like a European Western country, trying to kind of flirt with NATO. There are some that say that maybe Biden, the United States, and NATO could have put a head to this by saying maybe 1 or 2 years ago, Ukraine will never be part of NATO, like saying it. Now, the way I understand it is they said it maybe without saying it, but weren't really as forceful. But if somebody from NATO said, Ukraine will never be a part of this, you will never have Ukraine at your doorstep, Putin, maybe this could have been avoided, but we're not sure. There's no like way to certainty on that. Zelensky has been asking the U.S. Congress. He just talked to them this week. He even dropped some Martin Luther King bars.
Right.
He was like, I know your country have a dream. He goes, I have a wish. Drop some bars like, oh, Zelensky, you dropping them. But dog, he's basically saying go to World War III to save my country. When I think he probably should just surrender. So to your point, it's war. I mean, American history has been of war and expansion, and the strong sort of like dictates and rules. It's just been American history. Zelensky, I think, needs to just fold the tent. And just like, fine, we surrender. I mean, stop asking the U.S. for fly zones. Stop asking us, like, we're giving you guns, we're giving you money. It was another thing I was watching. I want to get your opinion on something. It's going to take off topic. But I will say, we talked last week about Biden and missing opportunity to, like, meet material needs of, like, the Black community, like his biggest supporters.
Right.
So he pulling billions and billions out of his ass like it's nothing to send to Ukraine for the war effort when people have been asking him for help in their communities for years. That's probably another whole topic we could go down. But I do think it probably needs to be sent to Ukraine because I think they do need those guns, stuff like that too. But I don't want the U.S. to be involved in a boots on the ground war based on the information that I can gather. What have you been listening to? Like what have you gathered, I guess, in your research?
So as far as this war, man, it's all a matter of, I keep seeing Putin as the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, yeah, he's the bad guy. But understand,
it's really easy to say he's the bad guy.
It's easy to say that he's the bad guy because that's all you see on the news. That's
but he's shelling innocent people though too, Dwayne.
I understand. That's what they're showing. You can't believe it. So John, you can't believe everything you see.
I see people fleeing their country on trains. I see Black people can't get on those trains. I seen all that too. But I see like millions of refugees leaving their country. But that's real.
So that's what they're showing.
You don't believe it?
That's what they're showing.
That's what yeah.
So I take everything I see on the news with a grain of salt. Yeah. What I did hear from Putin, is that America puts troops in Ukraine and puts weapons in Ukraine in certain spots where they're too close. Like, why are y'all there, bro? Because y'all friends?
Their troops are in Poland. They don't have any boots in Ukraine.
They're getting too close. So, so once Ukraine becomes part of NATO, or if that was to ever happen, then they would.
Then if Ukraine became part of NATO, then yes, you would have NATO troops there.
And is that good for Putin? Like, would that be good for Putin?
What does Putin want?
Bro,
like he's not a sympathetic.
Like if anything pops off, and I'm not on Putin's side, I'm not on anybody's side. But if anything pops off, we don't want people in such a strategic part where they're like, all right, we already here, close. We can make a good attack right here, right now.
No, I get it. He didn't want that. Yeah.
So what
we could have gave him that.
Supposed to do?
He wanted to, but he also wants them to not have their country. He wants to take over their country. He feels like he's liberating them. There's been a lot of stuff about Nazism, and like there's been a lot of other stuff that you can't trust Putin, bro. And he's shown himself to be a bit of a thug when you're killing civilians. The minute you kill civilians, for me, I guess you lose all benefit of the doubt. And maybe that's why, to your point, maybe I'm more so willing to believe some of the mainstream stuff, even though you got to sort of take that with a grain of salt. You lost, Putin, my benefit of the doubt the minute you roll tanks in there shooting on civilians in their apartment buildings. Now, I just don't believe you're not sympathetic to me in any sense or form. I guess that's kind of how I look at it.
I understand that, but I also understand in war, there's going to be collateral damage. And if you're going to do war, you have to expect civilian casualties.
Yeah.
Just like when America does it and civilians get killed in other countries, is it okay? Do we now have to dictate for president?
All right. Yeah, but you're othering. You're othering in a way. You're othering. You're saying like, okay, well, I might have. Yes, okay, I stole from the supermarket. Yes, I did that. But you stole from Walmart. You stole some batteries last week. So yeah, like you're othering. You're not dealing with the fact that you stole right then and there.
No.
So
but I'm not. I'm another.
No, but this whole othering of yeah.
It's just like another person seeing me and you. You stole from Walmart. You stole from Target. Yeah. And me saying both of y'all wrong. Both of y'all are dictators.
Okay, but in the moment, we're dealing with what's in the moment now. And the other in the moment, when civilians are being killed and there's millions of refugees, and to just be like, well, U.S., you guys, had slavery and you have to pay reparations, and you guys had the CIA, kill some people and put some, y'all shouldn't be talking. Like, that's all true. But what are we dealing right now? We're dealing with civilians being bombed. We're dealing with Putin driving his troops into a sovereign country where they didn't want to be, and he's got nuclear weapons. We can unpack all the evils of the U.S. We can unpack all that stuff too. But if we're talking Putin's not a sympathetic figure, and you sort of like lose, like I said, any sort of benefit of doubt at this point, based on all of the dead bodies that are piling up and the refugees and the displaced people that you see.
Yeah. So if we're going off of what the news is giving us, yeah, Putin's a bad guy.
Again, you got to sort of like, to anybody watching this, it's like you got to sort of, you can't just watch CNN. You have to, like, I watch Fox News Sunday. So yeah, I watch Fox News Sunday. I watch, I don't watch CNN at all. I don't watch MSNBC. I watch ABC News, Fox News Sunday. I get a lot of news on YouTube, right wing, left wing, and then I kind of trying to find something in the middle, kind of like where the truth is.
Right.
Because we don't have down the middle news here. Everything is profit driven. And right now, segmentation and polarization is the name of the day. That's where the money is. And so that's sort of where our news goes, unfortunately. Right. Like our news is catered to the extremes on both ends of the spectrum, if that makes sense. Our news is catered to the extreme right wing, and it's catered to the extreme sort of like left wing, and then that's kind of where. What's that?
I said CNN, Fox.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this
right,
whole thing reminds me. It just reminds me of like when Trump was getting bashed everywhere.
He was.
And everybody was against him. Yep. And people that didn't even really know any specifics of his situation would vote against him just because they were Democrats. But you don't know what's in his, what he's doing in his campaign and what he's fighting for. That doesn't matter. All it is that he's shown as a bad person. You're black, you're Democrat, don't vote for him. without knowing anything. And I feel like that's what's going on in the Russia thing.
I think that if you want to bring it to Trump, you're black, you're Republican. First of all, you know.
Wait,
so let's transition. Well,
I've always wondered this question. Are you a Republican? I don't.
No, we can talk about it. So listen, you and we talked about this for many years. You know, I'm 46. You're right. Like, I vote my interests, and I don't necessarily talk about it. It used to be, before this country got so polarized, there were two things you didn't talk about. We're going to talk about it in the next segment here. But you didn't talk about religion, and you didn't talk about politics. And if you didn't do that, you can have nice conversations with pretty much anybody, right? We've tribalized now in the United States down political lines. And the problem, too, is that now people take their politics almost like personally. And so, and what I mean by that is, like, my politics is because I'm a black, trans, cis, like whatever, and because of that, I identify with these particular policies. And you may say, okay, I respect that. I don't necessarily agree with that, but we can have that conversation. But then it's like, and you might not necessarily dislike that as a person, but anytime you disagree with them on their politics, then it's like, and it goes to your cancel culture comment, like. Now it's like, oh, now you don't agree with me on a personal level. Like, you offend me on a personal level because you don't agree with me in my politics. When I just told you that I've infused my political views into my personal essence of, like, who I am. Right. And now if I don't agree with you on your political things, just because it doesn't mean I hate you as a person, or if you're trans or gay, like, it doesn't mean that at all. I just don't agree with that political point. But it becomes a fight where it's like, now you've sort of rejected me, not only my political views, but the essence of, like, who I am. I think that's a problem. Right. Like, everyone sort of, like, infuses who they personally are within their, personal thing. So to answer your other question, no, I'm not. No, I'm actually a registered Democrat, but I have voted Republican in the past.
Oh, okay.
And on certain, ballot issues and stuff like that.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so just to seamlessly get into this next topic. There's a viral clip going around.
Yes.
In which Hershey Walker, football player, right? Former football player.
Yes.
He says
Georgia legend down here in Georgia.
Oh, okay, there we go.
UGA star, yes.
All right. So he questioned evolution.
Yeah.
And said that, in not so many words, why are there apes still around if we evolved from apes?
Right.
Your take.
My take?
Yeah. Is he crazy? What's going on? Where is he coming up with these crazy ideas?
You're not gonna like my answer. My answer is this: what he said doesn't matter. It was pure red meat to his base. If you watch the whole clip, it was first of all, it was just pure red meat to his evangelical Christian conservative Georgia base. He talked about the apes evolution thing that speaks to, listen, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I'm a card carrying member of the Jesus Squad. I believe that man was created on the 6th day, Jesus Christ. I'm all team Jesus. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Okay. But I also understand the game. The game is, there's a lot of conservative people that feel like, from the cultural standpoint, they feel like, they're losing their country, they're losing their culture, their earth is going to hell. There's a lot of that in the Bible. If you read, like, a lot of stories in the Bible are like, are you going to be with God, or are you going to be with the world? And the world is always secular things that necessarily might go against God. And so you're always on this, like, this battle, this conflict of being not for the world, but being for God, like, in everything. But so if you watch the clip, he said the ape thing. He also talked about freedom, America, loving Jesus. He hit all the buzzwords. So it wasn't really a evolution thing, really. I felt like it was more of a distractionary, throw red meat to my Christian conservative Trump base. Remember, he's going up against a reverend for the Senate here in Georgia. So somehow, some way, Democrats have ceded religion. I think they've allowed, in my humble opinion. Now we've got Reverend Warnock, who is our senator, and in full disclosure, I probably will vote for him in the fall. but because Herschel Walker, I think, is more of a plant. It's just a game. It's just red meat. Here you go. Jesus, guns, United States, evolution. No, God made man. Like that's what it was. That's how I took it. You watched the whole clip. What were you? We can talk about the evolutionary.
Yeah, we don't need to spend a lot of time. So
yeah. I think that it was a distraction more so. I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw it?
So the first thing I thought, in a nutshell, and I don't follow politics as closely as you, but the first thing I thought is that they took this piece out to make this man look like he's crazy and he's not good for whatever he's trying to run for. So he's running for some office, and they took this piece out because I didn't hear any of this other stuff about freedom and whatever, America. Yeah. Just this evolution thing. Yeah. And it made him look crazy
it did look crazy,
to like the masses. To me, it don't look crazy at all. He's speaking facts to me, because you already know I'm thinking on a different level for most people. So like, yeah, why are apes still here? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why are apes still here? So yeah, for me, I'm like, damn, why would you pull that out? So now people are like, oh yeah, this guy's crazy. We don't want somebody that's talking crazy stuff about he doesn't believe that humans come from apes. We don't want him running for office, you know what I mean? So I just take that as them trying to destroy somebody. That's how I took it.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think though, but Herschel Walker is not the most eloquent speaker, and I don't know. He's got Trump's endorsement, and that's sort of like his base. I don't know that it hurt him as much as he tried to. In my humble opinion, I get your point. He's not the best speaker, and so they put him out there to look dumb. And I think a lot of people jumped on that. You're so dumb, Herschel Walker. Right. We underestimate these plants, these people at our peril. Trump was also very much underestimated, thought to be an idiot, thought to be a yard barker, and he became president of the United States. So he has a message.
Though he was always a good speaker.
Who, Trump?
A good speaker. Yes.
I remember those debates. I remember going back when he went up against Hillary Clinton. So this can make your point. The media narrative, and my opinion as well, though, too, was that this guy was just no way he would win the Republican nomination. There was no way he was going to beat Hillary Clinton. And the media parroted that. And the minute when he won, they were just in tears. Remember Van Jones and his white lash comments. I mean, the media was just in shock because the whole time they were, this guy's an idiot. Like, there's no way.
Let me clarify. Not a good speaker, but a personality that could talk for a very long time. Let me clear that completely up.
Yeah.
Yes. So I get it.
It's going to be a big election with Herschel Walker going up against Warnock. We'll see if the Trump effect gets him over the hump. We talked about this a little bit last week too, Dwayne.
Right.
I do think Warnock is going to be hurt a little bit by Joe Biden, and it's only because I'm hearing Gwinnett. I remember specifically Joe Biden saying, "You give me John and the Reverend." He meant John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock. This is Joe Biden in an election. You give me John and the Reverend, and I will get you, material changes to your life. And Raphael Warnock is going to have to, when he debates in the fall, sort of have to answer for the fact that there's no George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed. He's going to have to answer for the fact that the child tax care credits are ended, right? And he's going to have to answer for a lot of those failures that a lot of progressives and a lot of the Black community, when they went out and voted in crazy mass down here during COVID and didn't see, he's going to have to answer for that. And I think that might hurt him more than Herschel Walker being a nut and having Trump's endorsement. If Herschel Walker wins, I think it would be a combination of a lot of different things. And I do think maybe Joe Biden's sort of record is going to be a big part of it as well. But we'll see. Still a lot of time still here to go between now and then.
All right, let's hit this last topic. Time's running out.
Your favorite topic.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to agree with you a little bit on this too.
Something dear to my heart. What?
Yeah, something very. I'm gonna probably agree with you more on this subject than you think.
Okay, so what's the big deal with these vaccines, man?
They save lives.
I mean, I'm on my 5th booster. I don't know about you. Which number booster are you on?
Dwayne, of course, is being funny. I want to tell you it's funny. Another funny thing about this, if we can, I'm vaxxed and I'm boosted. You're a big health guy, right? And so let's talk about this too. I'm going to go down your lane a little bit and stop me if I'm crazy. So I'm vaxxed and I'm boosted. I'm a big vaccine person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's because there's a lot of arrogance too, like this follow the science, do what we say, not as we tell you. There was a lot of arrogance, follow the science. The science kept changing, and there was no humility about, hey, we were wrong. These new variants came around, right? There was no humility. It was just like, shut up and take these vaccines, and we know what's best for you. I took the vaccines because I understood that it wasn't going to stop me from transmitting it to others, but it would help me not go to a hospital. My wife's vaccinated and boosted. My children are vaccinated. And we're down here in a red state that was wide open. And we never got COVID. And I know you're up there in a blue lockdown state. You got it twice, which is just crazy to me.
Yes, I did. And I'm so happy that I did. So happy.
I believe it. I think though is so here's a topic, and I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna be self-effacing here as well. Is I'm probably a little chubbier than I need to be, right? We never talked about the health component ever. We never addressed that, in my opinion.
Which is the
most. We never talked about it, right? And I think I knew that because maybe I'm not as healthy as I need to be, that obese people are, I think, like 70% more likely to like go to the hospital, like to potentially die. We never talked about that. We kept saying, well, it's the unvaxxed that are dying, which might be true. But if you were obese and you were unvaxxed, you were then really maybe playing with fire. And it wasn't necessarily because of COVID, but it's because maybe you're dealing with a lot of other things that make your immune system lessened if you've got high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all those things that come with maybe being less healthy. And maybe you probably should have thought about maybe getting vaccinated. And maybe not pushing vaccine on like Kyrie Irving, who was like the peak of his physical prowess and doesn't necessarily need it. And I thought there was a lot of arrogance there. I took it because I knew that there was a big issue with like people a little heavier, and we never talked about that. Why do you think we never talked about that part, Dwayne, the health piece? Because I know that's really near and dear to your heart.
Yeah. So one thing that I was thinking about was when we were trying to come up with topics for this week's podcast. And, I said, I want to talk about something about health, about money. And you said, nobody's going to be interested in that.
That's why I pivoted. That's why I pivoted for you.
Right. And for me, that is what's most important. So it doesn't matter if that's what's going to get us the views, going to get us money, riches, fame. Yeah. I want to speak my truth. I want to speak my passion. So, as far as the vaccine, I feel like, and this is the point of everything, that people need to focus on their health, focus on their immune system. And if they feel like getting the vaccine as a protective measure is a good thing, then by all means, go do that. But that should not be the number one thing in your mind. The number one thing should be eating right, exercising, getting enough sun, taking care of your body, because your body is the first line of defense. The vaccine should not be the first line of defense. So now, with these Pfizer documents being released, and so now I did pull up what they were ordered to do. Let me read the whole thing real quick. I'll put it here specifically so I could read it. In a January court order, U.S. District Judge Mark Pittman of the Northern District of Texas required the FDA to release about 12,000 documents immediately, and then 55,000 pages a month until all documents are released, totaling more than 300,000 pages. So these are like the vaccine documents from Pfizer.
Okay.
And so the
Now,
first they released.
is this like the ingredients of the vaccine, or just like the financial stuff behind the scenes? What documents specifically?
I guess this is a little bit of everything.
Okay.
The studies that were taken as far as like releasing the vaccine, the side effects, which is the thing that, you know, was most interesting to me. There was 9 pages of potential side effects that could come from taking the vaccine. And, you know, there's nothing to hide. Why there should be complete transparency, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That would make people that are on the fence taking the vaccine to be more easier to take it. Me, I'm not taking it anyway. You already know me. But the people that are on the fence, like, it needs more testing. You know, a regular vaccine takes 10 years. How does this take 6 months? Those people will be a little more easy. Like, okay, this is all the information I need, and make the informed decision there. You know what I'm saying? Now,
you want to make sure there was no chips in the vaccine?
No chips? I mean,
no tracking chips?
I mean, you got to look real close. Look real close. I don't know.
No nanotechnology up in there tracking you?
Yeah. I mean, but now everything seems like it's opening back. And the people that didn't get the vaccine, or the people that did get the vaccine, are wondering, like, all right, you guys made this big deal about getting all of these booster shots, but now you're just opening everything up, even to the people that are unvaccinated. Why did we have to take all of these shots? What was the big deal?
Yeah, I think the big deal, though, was the probably close to 1 million dead people. You know, I think that's, you know,
I mean, again, this is stuff that the media has pushed out, and it's been shown that the media fuddles with these numbers. They fuddle with the numbers.
It's not, well, I will concede that there has been some numbers manipulation, maybe not so by the media as you think, but by the hospital themselves, because there have been people that died from other things that happened to have COVID.
Yeah.
And they would say they died of COVID.
Right.
And I think that's been reported. I think the vaccines for me were a wonder. I think 10 years I think it's 2022. I think in a crunch, human ingenuity and humans expertise can come up with a vaccine for a virus that was sweeping the globe. If they really put their minds to it, if the earth was under like some peril thing and we had to put all our minds together, our best minds need to get on this, and they really just focus on that, and you gave them 12 to 18 months, is it outside the norm to think that they could do that? To your other point about, well, it takes 10 years. Like I believe that there are human ingenuity that can do that.
Yeah, but
profit motive. Go ahead.
The thing that gives me pause is that, okay, they were able to come up with a vaccine in such a short amount of time, but why are you censoring the people that say that they're getting potential side effects from the vaccine? What is the point?
I think that at the time, listen, everything should be transparent. I agree with you. I think there was what's that thing? The inflammation of the heart, they were saying, like myocarditis or something like that.
Yeah, myos.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll put the word somewhere around here.
Myos. Yeah. Should everything have been transparent? Sure. I think there was a huge heavy hand, and it became political too. And that's why I kind of made my other point about you being in Connecticut, being in a blue state, me being here in Georgia in a red state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything here was wide open still. You know, and as I and the kids, the first year, all the kids were home, like everywhere. 2020, March, the kids finished the school year home. So from like, what was that, March to like May, that school year at the end of 2020 was home. Then they lost out on all that stuff. School starts again in 2020, that August. The first half of that year to end 2020, they were home. January 2021, we sent them back to school. They were back in school in person. And their grades actually, like when they were home, like first of all, both of my kids, I'm not saying this to say like everybody, like my kids are really great students, B's and A's for the most part on average. And then Nez and I really don't have to do anything for them to get it.
Yeah.
But they struggled. They struggled big time when they were home.
The virtual,
The virtual. but they've been back in school since January 2021. When did they let kids go back into the school in Connecticut?
September 2021.
September 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, because once they stopped school, they stopped the rest of the school year, and it was just virtual. Yeah.
We were happy that they went back. We were pretty adamant that they needed to go back. I think for their grades, but also for their sanity. And they had to wear the mask and all that stuff. But we never got COVID ever. And we've been to Florida, like the South is wide open. Been travel, we eaten out, like hung out, like lived life. Actually, that first year was actually, and this could be another conversation. We don't have time to do this, but there was a privilege sort of difference on how people lived that year. Like for Inez and I, who we work from home, we had people delivering our groceries, and we take them out, we wipe them down with Lysol. We did all that stuff they told us to do, right? We wiped down everything with Lysol before it came in the house, threw the bags away, wore gloves when we got
okay. Yeah, I did it all.
But Amazon their ass off, right? But like the people that were dropping off the Amazon packages, the people that were dropping off our groceries, the people that were driving us our Uber Eats, we didn't take care of them at all. Like they didn't get huge. They should have got hazard pay. They never did.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have got hazard pay.
Yeah, I did. When I had the month after I had the month after I had COVID, I did Amazon Flex, and every like fifth house, there was a big sign outside saying like, "Thank you to the Amazon people." Like we're like as important as healthcare workers because people are ordering their masks, ordering DVD players, food for their pets, everything. So
everything.
Yeah, they were appreciative, but as far as hazard pay, no, we weren't getting.
I think there's a lot of wealth that was generated during COVID, and I'm not one of these people that hate Elon Musk or hate Jeff Bezos. Like Jeff Bezos created Amazon in his garage, right? Like fine, but like the workers didn't get hazard pay, didn't get like bonuses. But Elon Musk and like those rich people, like their wealth just grew like exponentially. And I think I don't know that you can pull a lever at the government to like and people are gonna hate me. It's this the tax the rich crowd. I hate saying this, but like, do you steal take from Elon? Say, hey, you have excess profits. We have the government. We're gonna take that from you, and we're gonna redistribute it. I mean, where are you on that, by the way?
So for
redistribution,
me being a person that wants to definitely work for themselves and not work for the man, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to make the decision on my own because I feel like I'm the best person to know where I want to help out and where I want to get my money. But I feel like if people are not helping out, I wish there was a way that we could force them to help.
Yeah.
What are you doing with all this extra money?
Yeah. Man.
But
what's the answer? I don't know the answer. I don't know. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Like Jeff Bezos, like, dude, like you could give every one of your workers $100,000 bonus and it wouldn't affect you at all.
At all. Yeah.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know how you do it or how you change your mind or how you make them want to do that. But yeah, I'm back. I'm boosted. I don't plan on getting quadruple vaxxed. I got the 3 shots.
Oh, 3. Okay.
And I got 3.
Moderna?
That's it.
Moderna.
2 Moderna, and then the booster was Pfizer.
So you just mix and matching? Like, is that good? Like,
the science changed. They said they see that, and that's the thing. Like at first, I thought you had to take all the same. So I was very, very specific about taking Moderna. I went for the booster. I said, give me Moderna. Moderna didn't have a booster, but the pharmacist was like, no. But and the doctor was like, and my PCP was like, yeah, you can take the booster.
Okay.
I trust my doctor. The science changed. This is in December. I haven't grown any horns yet, so I think I'm good.
And that must be the lighting. I think that's the lighting because it looks like a little bit of.
I think they say too, Dwayne. Did you read this? Like they say that they wear off, like the efficacy of them. Like
Yeah.
or off. I think that
No,
I think that might I think that might go to your earlier point too when you said how can they maybe make them so fast? Maybe this is maybe one of the side effects, and maybe maybe they made a vaccine, but not that great, and it kind of wears off. It's not like the rubella vaccine or something that you get that they've been doing for hundreds of years, and I think they got it down pretty fast. I mean, that could be part of it too. I don't know. That's just me speculating. I'm not spreading COVID misinformation. I'm just speculating on my personal experience.
Yeah, that's all we're doing out here in these streets. As you know, I'm not vaccinated. Don't plan to be. I believe in, our natural immunity to keep us healthy. My kids have never had COVID. For some reason, they've been all around me. I remember the first time I had COVID, I tried to quarantine myself in the living room. I put like a partition so that the kids couldn't come past the partition. I would fall asleep, wake up to my baby just on my chest, like, hey, I'm like, no, get away from me. It was a terrible idea to stay in the same house. But luckily, they didn't get COVID, even though, and it sounds bad, I wanted my kids to get COVID so that they had the natural immunity, because I feel as though our body has the ability to protect us. And I feel like the natural immunity, and there's a bunch of studies that prove that the natural immunity is stronger than the vaccinated immunity. So
I'd have to see those again. I think that a lot, when you make a statement like that, though, the way I think like we said earlier, it has to be our bodies can maybe make natural immunity, but also maybe the state of your body also plays a role in that.
No, so like I said earlier, I think that earlier, we're the first line of defense. If you want to use vaccine as a second line of defense, then that's fine. But we have to take care of our bodies and eat the right things and take care of it.
Yeah, I think it was a personal decision. To your point, right? So,
definitely.
Like, I wasn't a big fan of like the mandates and stuff like that. That's kind of where it kind of also became a bit of an argument. But for me personally, like I said, for my personal body and choice, I felt the vaccine was good for me.
Right.
And
I respect
I had.
Right.
And you made your choice not to get it, and I respect that too. I think this division, calling a lot of anti-vaxxers and stuff like that, I thought that was maybe a little inappropriate.
Yeah. I think I really feel like that's still going on, but I really don't care. I'm quick to tell somebody I'm not vaccinated. So what I do too, I still wear my mask a lot of places just because they know I'm not unvaccinated. So to make them feel comfortable, I'll do it. But it's just like calling you a nigga. Like, I know you don't like the word nigga, so I'm not gonna do it to you.
Right.
But I got a bunch of niggas that I call nigga. So
yes, I don't. Yes, yeah.
It's the same type of thing. It's all about respect.
It's all about respect. No, 100%. If we a little bit of respect, if we have a little more of that in society and how we interact with people, I think things would be a lot better for sure.
Definitely. All right, man. So I think we ran our course today. I think we went over the 30-minute limit, but it's all good. I see the recording sign still on, so it's all good.
Good. This was fun, Dwayne. It's always good having these conversations. If you're watching our podcast, we really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Just a couple of old friends, couple of brothers here, just kind of one in Connecticut, one in Georgia, but we keep on our connection strong, just talking about things that are important for the day. And we hope you enjoyed listening to us today.
And what I'm going to do on this podcast is put our contact information somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhere.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter.
What's that again?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at John Isaac 55 on Twitter. You can find me there.
All right. I'm not on Twitter yet, but my Instagram, Kaizen Low. You can check me on Kaizen Low. I'll put that right here. All right.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So till next week, brother. You gonna have some topics for me? Research?
I'll have some. Yeah, I'll get some topics to you by midweek, and we'll get together again on Sunday next week for sure.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, bro.
All right.
Love you, man. Talk to you later.
Love you. Peace.
Peace.